Good morning and welcome to the David Wilson Out and About channel. I'm out for a stroll this morning. I did have quite a long walk planned. It's a local walk, local from where I live, and it was basically taking in two of the winter walks I did in my local area, South Darenth Horton Kirby, and combining them into one. There was a section along the River Darent, on the Darenth Valley path that I was unable to complete back in March. Basically, the river had burst its banks and all the fields were flooded. I mean, literally, I walked into the fields and the water was tipping on the top of my wellies, so that didn't get done. So what I'm going to do, I'm not feeling the full ticket. I've got a head cold at the moment, and that's only going to get worse. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the walk short and retrace my path along the Darenth Valley path along the river to a place called Westminster Fields, where I couldn't carry on. And I'm going to complete that piece of the walk. So it's not going to be a long video, but hopefully you'll enjoy it all the same. Right, let's get cracking. Well, I'm starting my walk from a field called Riverside. It's an open space recreation ground in South Darenth. It's got a playground and exercise equipment for children and adults. I've come over here to just start the recording because it's actually quite busy. The children have just gone to school and there seems to be a lot of their parents coming over here walking the dogs, so I just wanted somewhere to get out of the way and just start my video. Well, right in front of you there's the Horton Kirby viaduct, the Victorian viaduct. So we'll just be crossing the road there and then picking up the path. If you haven't seen the last video, which was filmed, I believe February or March, I'll actually link that up above. I've crossed the road now and I've just come across the bridge at Station Road, and I'm about to join the path. Some of you that watched my last video will probably recognise this, but it's surprisingly muddy already. I think we've had, we have had quite a bit of rain of recent, and as you can see, it's very, very overgrown. Lots of reeds, lots of nettles, and the leaves are on their way down. Well, it is autumn. I was planning on redoing this walk in the summer or late spring, but unfortunately, as you all know, we were still in lockdown till late May, and by that time I'd made plans to go up to Scotland kayaking and wild camping. And when I got back, I was reasonably busy. I did have some other trips down to South Devon, Dartmoor. Now we're coming into autumn, it's getting a bit colder. I'm planning on doing a few more local walks. I have a place called Way near Ashford in my sight, which is a very, very scenic walk, which was on my bucket list for last year, but again, we had 2 national lockdowns, which basically put paid to a lot of the things I intended on doing. So yeah, hopefully that'll be within the next couple of weeks. And then I've also planned a 2-day or 2-night wild camp in a place, well, I'm going to say unknown location, further out in Kent, which will involve a tarp shelter and my tent, obviously just because of the weather at this time of year. So yeah, watch this space. There's plenty more to come over the next few months. river's hardly visible in parts here. It's so overgrown with the weed and the nettles, but that will clear quite quickly as we move into the full-on winter. And it'll expose the river again. Let's just take a little walk down here. We've got a little bridge here leading onto private land, as you can see. Private land, no trespassing, CCTV. Another slow pan back down the river away. Well, we're in Westminster Fields now. Oh, it's nice and fresh in here. I actually wasn't sure what to wear this morning. It was quite nippy when I woke up, and it's an awkward time of year for clothing. So I'm carrying a warmer fleece coat in my day pack and my rain jacket, although it's not forecast to rain, but you never know. But I'm quite pleased I put this fleece on, so just keeping that wind chill out. Again, referring back to the video in the winter, or February, March, this was the field that was completely flooded. It literally looked like a lake, and as I got past these toilets here, the water literally rose up to the level of my wellies, top of my wellies. So that's when I sort of abandoned that part of the walk, and I carried on the walk, but I did an alternative route, but it wasn't the planned route. So literally when we get to the gates at the bottom here, it'll be the bit that I didn't film going along the river on, like I said, the Darenth Valley path. So that will be the new bit in my collection, I suppose. Referring back to the winter video of this walk, we're now on the section that I couldn't walk. The river is actually to our left, but again, very overgrown at the moment. It will appear further up, I'm sure. We just cut through this what looks like a meadow when it's not so long. As you can see at the moment, very overgrown indeed. And then we'll pick up the river to the left, heading toward Frank's Lane Bridge in a little while. Oh, birds are out in force this morning. Nice to hear. I can still hear road noise in the distance. I'm not sure if you're picking it up, but I can hear it to the right of me, but then again I know it's there anyway. I'm always saying it on the local videos, you're never far away from a main road round here, but it's very easy to commute into London from this area. Another post with the way marker on it. Darenth Valley path. Now the path thins out for a little bit until we come down to a really nice little area to the left where you can sort of just walk down to the river. But I don't know what it'll look like at this time of year. I mean, I was in two minds as to whether to come out and film this, especially as it's autumn and I filmed it in the winter, but it does change quite drastically, the scenery, the views from season to season. So I do feel it's worth the walk, and hopefully next year I'll get the spring or the summer when it's all in full bloom and show you the true beauty of the area. I'm just coming off the path and leading you down to the little riverside area that I was talking about. A very nice little piece there. I've never been no further down, although I'm not sure it really leads anywhere. I've got to be careful along here. It's quite slippery. No, it doesn't lead anywhere. Right, we'll head back out onto the path now. Just a teeny weeny detour there. Any moment now we'll be seeing the river on our left again and following that, I believe, all the way up to the bridge. So one of my favourite sections, although I believe up ahead it does get a little bit dark. Let's just take a little look back. This is a walk my older grandchildren enjoy doing in the summer. Normally leave from my home, walk through here down to the bridge, cut back through Horton Kirby village, and then go and have a pub lunch, which is another thing they thoroughly enjoy. Well, as you can see ahead, it's a fairly overgrown piece. Again, quite nice in the summer because you're walking through here, all the tree cover, and it's nice and cool. And there's a couple of areas where you can actually get down by the river, where it's quite shallow. And as my grandson said, who's 10 or coming up 11, great place for a wild camp, Grandad. And indeed, I have seen videos where a couple of people have pitched up there, which actually sort of makes me grin. I mean, I live locally, but there again, I would go to someone else's area and pitch up anyway, so that's the way it goes. Just hear the river trickling now at this section. An awful lot of bird noise today, very noisy. I'll just take you down by the river. There's a couple of sections along here where people have wild camped. Obviously I recognise them straight away, the areas. I wouldn't actually be able to fit my backpacking tent in here. I think it's more bivvy bag than tent, or a small one-man tent. Right, let's crack on. We're actually approaching the bridge now. Extremely quiet on this section, but Again, it's still quite early. Probably not even 10 AM yet. I'm sure more people will be out later. Well, there you go, Franks Lane Bridge. And I believe again on the last video I did a detour round through Horton Kirby village, came up to the village and along this path just a little bit, just to give you all a taster. So I've finally done the section that I couldn't do in the winter. This is another spot on the river where you often find the children out paddling. There's a rope swing there. I think it's broken now, but they often put rope swings up and they're just paddling out. It's shingle. I mean, I've actually got in here before, I think about 3 years ago in the summer, and I brought a pair of Crocs with me, a pair of sandals, and what I did, I literally put them on and I walked a large section or large sections of this river all the way home. Couldn't walk it all. There's times when I had to get out, but it was absolutely lovely because it was a roasting hot day. So to sort of just get in the river and actually walk along was absolutely magical. A tiny bit of road walking now, and then we're going to start cutting back towards the village. Right, on the path back to the village now, Horton Kirby village that is. So this leads down through another stile, cross the field, and then we can actually, we will walk straight through the high street, just have a look around. My nose is cleared and my head feels pretty good, considering, as I said, I've got a head cold. Just absolutely amazing what fresh air can do for you. There's the view uphill to Eglantine Lane, Horton Kirby. And we're carrying on along this path to the field. I don't know where the cows have gone this year. Last year there was cows in this field. We're now following the path along the side of the field. You can cut straight through that way. There is a public access. You can probably just make out the path, which I have done again on one of my videos, local videos. And I think I walked through the top end of Horton Kirby and then cut back down. We're now in the street, Horton Kirby. Yes, that is the actual name of it. And on the left here, Royal Oak Cottage was a public house a few hundred years ago. Absolutely stunning house with lovely little cottages running just along the side of it. So this is basically the main road going through Horton Kirby. You've got the Fighting Cocks pub further down here on the left, which you'll see in a moment. That name makes a few people laugh, but I think it more or less explains itself. Fighting Cocks pub on the left there. I just stopped filming because I've got a strange look from someone in their garden. Looks like the sun's coming out. Hooray! I'm overdressed. Nice and quiet down here this morning. Well, the sun is shining now. We may be getting a bit of lens glare on the screen, so I apologise for that. If it's too bad, it will be cut from the video. Now approaching the local church, is down on the left. I'm going to stop there and have a couple of minutes sit down and a drop of water. I've not had any water yet. Throat's feeling very dry and a bit hoarse, a bit sore. It's a beautiful little, very quaint Norman church, St Mary the Virgin. Absolutely stunning house next door, which again was another pub many years ago. Right, we're going to cut up here. This is the graveyard, Horton Kirby graveyard. The video I did back in March, I took a little walk through the graveyard at the church across the road, and this was an extension of it, but some of the graves are absolutely ancient in here. Well, I've just stopped for a water break, and I'm directly opposite the church by the graveyard. I'm going to stop recording here. I've only got literally a couple of minutes walk to do, but it's actually turned out to be a really nice walk. I wasn't too sure whether to come out, like I said, not feeling great, so it's very easy just to mope around and stay indoors, but I'm really glad I came out. I'm actually sweating now, I'm feeling overdressed. Sun's blazing in the sky, although it's not mega hot, but you can hear the school in the background, the infant school. But yeah, no, really enjoyable walk. So anyway, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it the thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Bye for now.